Among the many spirits that wander the unseen realms of Japan, none are more feared or more tragic than the Kijo. These demonic women are not born of darkness but are created through suffering and betrayal, their humanity burned away by the fires of rage and sorrow. Legends tell of women who, upon suffering unthinkable cruelty, shed their mortal flesh and become something else, something vengeful, horned and clawed. Their eyes gleam with the cold light of wrath. They roam the night, seeking justice where none was granted in life. It is said that a woman, when wronged beyond measure, may be consumed by resentment so profound that it binds her to this world even in death. Thus, she returns no longer a victim, but a force of reckoning. This is the story of Asayo, the girl who became a Kijo. In the waning years of the Heian period, when the courts of Kyoto glittered with poetry and deceit in equal measure, there lived a girl named Asayo, born to a humble family in a rural province. Her father, burdened by debt, made a cruel decision. He sold her to a pleasure house in the capital. Asayo was barely past childhood when she was taken away, her hands still calloused from working in the fields, her heart heavy with sorrow. Within the house, she learned to survive. She endured the leering eyes of men who saw her as nothing more than a passing amusement, the cruelty of older women who sought to break her spirit, and the endless nights where she dreamed of the home she had lost. Yet, despite her suffering, Asayo remained kind, her soul untouched by the filth surrounding her. But fate is rarely kind to those who endure. One evening, a nobleman named Lord Tadanaga visited the pleasure house. He was a man of great wealth and influence, known for his cruelty masked beneath a veneer of refinement. When his eyes fell upon Asayo, he declared her to be his for the night. She had no choice but to obey. What transpired in the darkness of that room was known only to Asayo and the nobleman. But by morning, she lay lifeless upon the tatami mat, her fragile body broken beyond repair. The mistress of the house, fearing repercussions, ordered her attendants to dispose of Asayo's remains in the forest beyond the city. And so, without ceremony or mourning, she was cast into the wilderness, as though she had never existed. But death was not the end. Asayo's sorrow did not fade in the cold embrace of the grave. Her pain twisted into something unnatural, something vengeful. The resentment she had swallowed in life now consumed her in death, and in the depths of the forest, a new being was born. Her fingers sharpened into talons, her teeth into fangs. From her forehead sprouted dark horns, jagged as the mountains. Her once soft eyes gleamed with a terrible light, and her whisper became the howl of the wind. Asayo was no longer a forgotten girl. She was a Kijo, and she had a debt to settle. She waited, concealed by the shadows of the trees, watching the roads that led to Kyoto. When the time was right, she stepped into the path of Lord Tadanaga's palanquin. His guards, seeing only a lone woman cloaked in tattered robes, moved to push her aside. But the moment their hands touched her, they fell back, screaming. Their flesh burned as though seared by an invisible fire. Lord Tadanaga stepped out, his irritation turning to horror as he beheld the creature before him. He recognized those eyes, the eyes of the girl he had discarded without thought. "Asayo," he breathed, stumbling backward. "Impossible." The Kijo smiled, revealing fangs gleaming in the moonlight. "Did you think death would grant me peace, my lord?" Her voice was like wind through a field of dead leaves. "Did you believe your sins would be forgotten?" He turned to flee, but the Kijo moved faster than any mortal. She seized him by the throat, lifting him as easily as a child lifts a doll. His guards, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as their master struggled, his noble pride crumbling into terror. "Mercy," he gasped. "I was but a man succumbing to desire. Surely, my sins are no greater than any other." The Kijo's expression did not change. A man may choose to be cruel, but fate does not choose to forget. With a single motion, she tore his throat open. The once proud nobleman collapsed in the dirt, his lifeblood seeping into the earth. The Kijo stood over his corpse for a long moment, then turned her gaze to the trembling guards. Without a word, she vanished into the forest, leaving behind only the whisper of the wind and the scent of death. The tale of Lord Tadanaga's demise spread swiftly through Kyoto. Some claimed he had been cursed by a vengeful spirit. Others whispered that it was divine punishment for a life of cruelty. But those who knew of Asayo understood the truth. Some ghosts do not seek peace. Some return for justice. This tale, though dark, carries wisdom for those who heed it. It teaches that cruelty is never without consequence, that even the most powerless may find strength in vengeance. It warns that the sins of the powerful do not vanish with time, but fester in the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that those who suffer unjustly do not always rest quietly in their graves. Although the Kijo is no god, this is a lesson that should be taught to us all.
Thank you for watching and subscribe for more videos.